Hey everybody, welcome back to VGC Regulation H, where the Baltimore Regionals just happened, and I think it's safe to say that there are some very large meta shifts that are going to happen because of this regional. Forgive me, this is going to be kind of a cheap and greasy video. I just want to get it out on time. I want to get it out, today and not like a week from now. So I'm just gonna record it and post it, and that's gonna be the video more or less. I'll add some music, obviously, but let's look at all of the teams for the Baltimore Regional. Okay, so we're just going to look at the top teams, more or less. We'll talk about it. There's some really big things that I kind of want to talk about just like overall. There's a lot of Flamigo here at this tournament. I mean, you can see it right here. 4th and 5th players are playing exactly the same 6 Pokemon. Flamigo on these like Trick Room Ursaluna teams was really, really popular. And of course, it's Scrappy Flamigo. It's not my favorite Flamigo. It's not like Co-Star, but it is very, very cool that people have adopted Flamigo as kind of like their main fighting type. It does a lot of things, right? Like it's always had a lot of like roll compression potential, but it's never been able to quite live up to that potential. So it's really nice to see it do kind of well at this thing. I mean, obviously, Flamigo is a flying and fighting type, which is a very good offensive typing. Very few things are going to resist both flying and fighting type. And then it has Scrappy, which means that even like ghost types like Goldengo, which you see on a ton of teams, Goldengo is weak to Scrappy Flamigo because now it has to eat close combat, and it can't do that, which is really, really neat. It also gets Wide Guard, right? You can run Tailwind on Flamigo. Obviously, we don't see that on these because they're Trick Room teams, but it gets like, Wide Guard, which is very huge for helping deal with Goldengo. It really just is a really good counter into a lot of things, especially Goldengo, which again, you can see here, it's on like like 5 teams in a row right here in the middle of the top cut. Very, very cool that Flamigo's getting some love. You know me, I'm a big Flamigo lover. There's a Vivillon here, which is just crazy, and honestly, this showed up on a couple of teams here in like day 2, but I think also top cut. Vivillon, the way that they're running it is wild, and I think it really helps me understand like a trend that I'm seeing that I don't think I really understood before. This Vivillon set is... Get it pulled up here. Oh, it's not on the screen. This Vivillon set is literally just Hurricane, Sleep Powder, Rage Powder, Protect. Like, that is an absolutely unhinged set for Vivillon to be top cutting tournaments with. Like, what? Like, really? Like, this is literally just Fast Sleep, the Pokemon. And I think that thinking about it that way helps me understand some things, because in this top cut, we also have a Breloom, Fast Sleep. I mean, obviously it has like Bullet Seed, it has like, Mach Punch that it can do with Technician, but this is basically just here for Fast Sleep. Like, you could not convince me that this Breloom is not on this team just to click Fast Sleep. Like, it's absolutely insane. And also in this top cut, we have Wolfe Glick's team here, which has Toedscruel on it, which might as well be the poster child of Fast Sleep. I think I don't think it's faster than Vivillon, but it is one of the fastest Pokemon that can click Spore, and they're running it with Weezing. Wolf's team, just like overall, is just a super unhinged team. Like, it's actually insane. This Weezing is Choice Specs Weezing, which is like, why didn't anybody else ever think of Choice Specs Galarian Weezing, right? Like, because it's such a wild thing to bring to a tournament. But it makes sense, because you have Toedscruel, and Toedscruel kind of plays this supporting role, right? It's got Spore, it's got Rage Powder, and it's running Acid Spray. And that's all the tools that you need for this Weezing to go off, right? Like, you Spore the one thing that can KO your Weezing, and, you 2 or 3 hit KO it while their opponent's asleep. What are they going to do? You know what I mean? It's very, very cool. Yeah, I think this like is gonna bring in a big meta shift, because a lot of people are big fans of Wolfe, and they are they're just gonna do what he does, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if every Weezing you face on the ladder for the next couple of weeks is just offensive Weezing next to Toedscruel, and we see less of the slacking stuff that we've been seeing. The rest of this team's also really neat. I think this Pawmot has Revival Blessing, question mark? Let's see. No Revival Blessing on the Pawmot is also kinda insane. Wow. I watched one of the matches, but I didn't like read the moves for whatever reason. Protect, Double Shock, Fake Out, Close Combat. this is just a fighting type that's on this team. Natural Cure is interesting. I think it's probably just Palmot's best ability, though I might have gone like Volt Absorb or something. I don't know. Maybe Natural Cure is just really good if you get statused. Yeah, this team overall, like, these are not Pokemon that necessarily, besides the Toedscruel, these are not Pokemon that necessarily want to take advantage of Weezing. They're just kind of Pokemon that don't really mind either way. And I think that's probably the right way to play Weezing. And the Toedscruel just kind of like pulls it together. Whenever this rental drops, I want to use it because it looks like a fun team. And honestly, I'm kind of mad I didn't think of it first. And then obviously winning this tournament, we have a Maushold. And this Maushold is... This Maushold is not Friend Guard. This is Technician, Pop Bomb, Wide Lens Maushold. Now, it does run Follow Me. It does have Taunt, right? But this is offensive Maushold. Like, for all intents and purposes, like, looking at the other Pokemon on this team, like, none of these Pokemon, like, necessarily really need Maushold. I mean, I guess Archaludon wouldn't mind if you, like, Pop Bombed your own Archaludon and, like, got all the defense boosts or whatever. Basculegion, Like, this seems like, the Follow Me was just kind of like a neat bonus that you could run. And obviously, like, Taunt is just a good move. Maushold doesn't really want to run any offensive moves that aren't Pop Bomb, right? Like, you could run, I don't know, like Bullet Seed, I guess. But it's really neat to see, like, an offensive Maushold. I mean, obviously, you know, you run Follow Me on every Maushold, like I said, because you want to. It's such a good move. Why would you not? Like, even... You know, the Dynamax, like, critical hit Togekiss sets still ran Follow Me. It just gives you more options on your team. But yeah, it's really nice to see offensive Maushold. Maybe we'll see more offensive Mausholds in the future instead of just, like, Friend Guard stuff next to Annihilate. There's not an Annihilate on this team. In fact, there weren't, I mean, I was going to say there weren't that many Annihilates in Top Cut, but there's actually quite a few. Yeah, lots of Incineroar. Everybody's saying Incineroar is dead. It's still probably the best Intimidator in the format, but we do see some other Intimidators. We do get to see Salamence. We get to see, you know, Tauros, Paldea, Aqua. I think there's a Tauros. No, they're both Aqua. There's a Hisuian Arcanine here, which is really, really neat. And then there's this wild team from Alex here. That is a Volbeat. That is Volbeat. This is Rain. I was looking at this team and I was like, man, what a wild team for this dude to make Top Cut. This team has Volbeat with Tailwind, Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Encore. Like, this is truly a moveset that you can only have with Prankster on Volbeat, and that is very, very neat that gets to fill this niche. I was gonna run a Volbeat on another team that I'm working on, and I realized that Murkrow gets all of the same moves, so I switched to Murkrow. But Murkrow doesn't get Encore, so like this moveset, these are 4 moves that you can only run together on Volbeat on a Prankster set. We have a Spathra here. This is a really neat Spathra. Lumina Crash, Protect, Expanding Force, D-Gleam. It's not Baton Pass. It's not like anything crazy. It's just here to support the Hisuian Typhlosion, seemingly, like, right? Like, you get your Tailwind up, you get your Sunny Day up, you get a Spathra in, and you get to just Lumina Crash things before Hisuian Typhlosion hits them, and I think that's really neat. That's a really cool set. It also combos well with the Primarina. And this Archaludon set, like, look at this thing. Dragon Pulse, Aura Sphere, Electroshot, Protect. There is Rain on this team. With the Rain Dance Volbeat, but it really feels like it's probably here more just to counter, like, Sun teams if you want to play Rain into a Sun team. This is a very, like, flexible team for how silly it looks. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that happen in the Baltimore Regional, a lot of Pokemon that got brought that I think you're gonna see more often. Like, obviously, like I said, a lot of people like Wolfe, and they're probably gonna do what he does, and they're gonna play this wild, Weezing team, right? Where is it? There it is. Is it on the screen? Yes. I didn't change my I didn't change how far in my camera was zoomed, so sorry if all the visuals are kind of not great because I'm just moving stuff around so it's in front of the camera. Yeah, like I said, Wolfe is a very influential player. A lot of people are just going to do what he does, at least, you know, maybe not like top players, but a lot of your average Joe's kind of players are just going to do what Wolfe does, right? So this Weezing, like people running Weezing, they're just going to run this. Like, honestly, this is probably the Weezing team we're going to see mostly from now on. You'll still see slacking stuff, but this is going to be mostly what you see. There's only one Dondozo in Top Cut, which is kind of crazy. The prevailing counter to Dondozo that we see is not like, I mean, I guess there's like some Haze Primarinas like here and there, right? Yeah. is Haze Primarina and Clear Smog which is obvious, right? Like, you kind of figure that's what you're going to see, but, you know, you kind of hope that, like, Murkrow etches in, because it does a lot of stuff that both of those Pokemon don't do. It's a lot of roll compression in a support Pokemon, but, yeah, I guess it's better to run the Clear Smog on Amoonguss or just run the Haze Primarina. Not as much Sneasler as I was expecting. I mean, there is quite a bit of Sneasler, but it didn't even make top 8, which is kind of crazy. Sneasler is really cool. More Flamigos in top 8 than Sneaslers. In fact, all of the Flamigos that made Top Cut made it to top 8, which is really, really funny. Yeah, I don't know. Just look at all these teams, right? Like, these 5 teams in a row are all Goldengo P2, and most of them are Ursaluna. So, like, Goldengo P2 ground type just seems to be, like, a really, like, interesting core coming out. In fact, Sleepmon, Incineroar, Goldengo P2 ground type seems to be just like the core here, except for this top one, which has Annihilate. I looked at this team. This Annihilate doesn't seem to be supported by any of the other Pokemon on this team, but it's just an Annihilate, you know? It does the job. I didn't look at this Annihilate. Is it Final Gambit? Yes, there's the... yes. Scarf coaching Annihilate is on the rise again. We saw it on a lot of teams, especially with these Dragonites, right? Because you're just coaching your Dragonite, and now, well, who cares that you're a Salt Vest Dragonite? You're still going to hit that extreme speed really, really hard, as if you had a choice band. That's another thing we saw a lot of, at least in day 1. Not as many here in day 2, although the person that came in second place does have a bulkier Dragonite, but it's actually Lumberry instead of Assault Vest. There you go. You can see it, what I'm looking at, because the Assault Vest is on King Gambit here. Yeah, bulkier Dragonites. We're moving away from, like, Inner Focus. Most of them have been multi-scale at this event here, which is really interesting, you know? You would think, like, there's still Incineroar on so many of these teams, but I guess, like, you just kind of got to position better. This Alolan Ninetales doesn't even have Aurora Veil. Like, it's just like Blizzard Freeze Dry, like, yeah, Blizzard Freeze Dry Encore Protect on this Ninetales. Like, what a wild set. Like, you would think with the multi-scale Dragonite and, like, maybe with the Garchomp and the King Gambit, you're like, oh, he wants to set up Aurora Veil. Like, he wants to, like, you know, protect his Pokemon from damage. No. Nope. This Ninetale is all hands, and if you try to do something, Encore. Encore Ninetales is something I've been seeing a lot, too. It's actually really annoying. I kind of hate playing against it. But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, look at the teams in Baltimore. Like, there's a couple of things we can take away, right? Like, Fast Sleep, I guess, is just really good. Like, obviously, you know, we see Fast Sleep quite a few times here, but we also see Slow Sleep. We have Amoonguss, but we got a Vivillon, and Top Cut literally is just here to click Fast Sleep Powder, almost. Like, that's actually insane. We got Breloom here in Top Cut, which is basically just here to click Fast Spore. We got this Toedscruel in Top Cut, which is basically just here to click Fast Spore. Yeah, not as much like Dragapult that I was expecting. There is a bunch of Archaludon, right? But not like as overwhelmingly as you would think based on how often you see on the ladder. There's only 4? Only 4 Archaludon in Top Cut. Only 1, 2... Only 4 Archaludon and only 3 Pelipper's. Yeah, people came ready for this Rain archetype, which makes sense, right? Like, it's the easiest team to just kind of slap together in the format. Basculegion, Pelipper, Archaludon. No hate to Nicholas. This was his first regional, actually, which is really cool. First regional, he gets an invite to Worlds, 350 championship points, $6,000, man. Congrats to you, man. Like, honestly, you're living everybody's dream right now. But yeah, I mean, even though there was so much stuff ready for Rain, and honestly, there really aren't that many in Top Cut, like, Rain won. Rain is here. It won. Like, obviously, I guess the Maushold was the star of the set because everybody loves Maushold, but it's a Rain team. Archaludon Rain won the regional, and that's, you know, that's something that maybe is important to think about going forward here. You got to have more counters for it. But yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, maybe I just rambled a bunch, but hopefully you found something interesting here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you go down under the video and leave me a like and a comment, and maybe you'll subscribe, and Usually I do more edited stuff, but today, you know, I just really wanted to talk about this stuff because I feel like after this regional, like the meta is only going to keep changing from here, and a lot of these things are going to become better. I didn't even talk about the freaking Delphox. Delphox is good right now, apparently. What is even the set on this Delphox? Its specs expanding force Delphox is actually insane. With the male and DD too, man. People were cooking for this regional, and honestly, you can cook in Reg H. There's a lot of things you can do that you couldn't do in other regulations. I know at this point, a lot of you probably know me for complaining about Reg H, but I do still enjoy the format. I knew I was going to come around eventually. It was just going to take me time to kind of like get a good foothold. I had to let all the bad feelings out so I could let all the good feelings in, you know? But with that, everybody, my name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time. Once upon a time, man, I heard that I was struggling. Came from a gen where power creep wasn't coming in. Face long, stats tight, defense up, shack height. Sturdy on me, sash like, got the TM last night. Hit me with that good move, make this mount act right. Bast boys, bout to hit that builder. I know that's right. Big Bast busting out these body presses, bout to buy a body bag.